Welcome to the Women Are Worthy show. I am so excited for our guest, Mr. Thom Underwood. He's also known as, he's AKA the Rebel Health Coach.
That would be me.
The Rebel Health Coach. We're going to get into all of that. Okay, Thom?
I'm ready for it. I'm ready
The
for it.
Rebel Health Coach. Well, I want our viewers to know that Thom Underwood, he's a functional medicine health coach for professional for men and women, and he wants people to have more energy so they can live their best life. Who doesn't want to live their best life?
Exactly.
Thom's mission is to help you feel better by getting to the root cause of the problem. So often, that right now healthcare is all about band-aid. It's the band-aid. So you kind of pull the band-aid, you put a little antiseptic on it, and then you put the band-aid back on. What Thom is doing, he's ripping off the band-aid, which is an ouch, and then he's digging into the wound to find out the root cause. Yep. That's what he's looking to do. So without further ado, I really want to welcome to the Women Are Worthy show, Mr. Thom Underwood.
Yeah, you can call it says Thom on the screen, so you can call me Thom or Thom.
Thom. Okay, no, I'm going to call you.
It's actually Thom. So
so let me know about how did you, first of all, why did you call yourself the Rebel Health Coach?
Mm-hmm. Well, this goes back. I was at a retreat down in Florida for health coaches, and there was a lady. My name's gonna anyway. There was a lady there doing a thing on podcast, teaching us or talking to us how she can how to start a podcast. At this, well, the lady, it was two guys and all these women, and I had a cigar in my right hand pocket, and I had a short sleeve shirt on, short sleeve shirt on, and you could see my tattoos. And I walked into the meet and greet the first night, and the ladies were like, "Okay, you got a cigar in your pocket, you're drinking a bourbon, and you have tattoos. You're a health coach." And then during the seminar and doing the podcast, I'm like, I'm actually going to start a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, we've got the perfect name. You're the Rebel Health Coach." And I'm like, "Oh, that's not a bad name at all." Because I am a little bit of a rebel. I mean, all my life I've lived on the edge, and I still live on the edge today. But I'm also pretty mainstream, and I take life seriously. I take stress seriously. I take all life has to offer seriously. I'm a godly man. I love the Lord with all my heart. And that's the reason I got into this business, because God put it in my heart to help people. Because let's face it, it's not easy living this life in a toxic world and being healthy.
It's so true. It's hard. And people think it comes easy, but it is hard. But at the end of the day, we both want to be healthy, and we all want to live our best life. So why not do the things that we can to have a productive life? So my question to you is, where's that tattoo at? I got to ask that. Come on.
I have on this arm, I have forgiven.
Okay.
And I've got Jesus Christ here, and the 3 roses of Sharon, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And on this arm, I've got an eagle with my dad's date of birth and death. And then on here, I've got his favorite Bible verse, which is Isaiah 49:31, which is "Mount on the wings of eagles, and he will give you rest."
Wow. So how did you land into being a health coach? Because usually people don't just grow up and say, I want to be a health coach. They fall into it, whether it's health or something. How did you get into this occupation?
That's a great question. And in 2007, I went to get my annual physical, and I was like 290 pounds, 289 actually. And I was diagnosed with the same disease, or diagnosed with the same, it's actually, metabolic syndrome is actually a combination of diseases. So I was diagnosed with metabolic syndrome, which is high blood sugar, so diabetes, high blood pressure, so high blood pressure issues, kidney, and also cardiac issues and liver issues. So all my numbers were high in all those numbers. And so he basically put me in the category of metabolic syndrome and wrote me a prescription. He wrote me 5 prescriptions: high blood pressure, sugar, liver, kidney, and then cholesterol.
Wow.
And I knew that that was the disease, or the diagnosis my father had was metabolic syndrome, and he died at the age of 64 in 1999. So he retired in 63 and only lived a year. So I took the prescriptions and walked them over to the trash can at my doctor's office and pushed the little button that pops the lid up, and I threw them in there. And my doctor looked at me like I was crazy. He looked at me like I had a third eye. And he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, considering this is the same diagnosis my dad had when he passed away, I am going to change my life myself." He said, "Okay, I'm okay with that. But how are you going to do it?" I said, "I'm going to go figure that out after I leave here." So I left there and I researched all that. And I looked up a gym at that time. The gym was Knuckle Up. I Googled kickboxing because I wanted to do something fun. I mean, if you're going to work out, you may as well make it fun and challenging at the same time. So I said, kickboxing sounds fun. Punching something sounds really fun. Punching and kicking, So I joined Knuckle Up, and I walked in there at 289 pounds. And the first class, I have to say, I never made it through. The second class, I gained a little bit, and I started going on it like 4 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I allowed myself Wednesdays to rest. And over the course of, I changed my diet. I tried every diet in the book. There's all kinds of books, but I landed on the paleo Mediterranean type of diet because, unlike you as a vegetable, are you a strict vegan?
Vegan.
Okay.
Plant-based. I consider myself
plant-based is a better. So I wanted the plant-based part. Mediterranean diet is very high in plant-based, and it's also high in oil, good essential oils for our bodies. And I still like my meat. I'm a guy, you got to have your meat. And that's where I settled on a combo paleo Mediterranean diet. And I'm down to, I'm too skinny right now. I'm 171. So I've been intermittent fasting from 7 at night till 10 in the morning. So I've got to change some things, and I've got to put on maybe 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a hard problem to do. You just add some protein and add some more carbs, and off you go. So, but that's my story. And I decided what got me into the health coaching realm was, I joined a multi-level marketing company that sold the shakes and the pills, and I'm not going to mention the name of the company.
No, we're going to bleep it out. Yeah.
And so I joined the company, and all these people started calling themselves health coaches. And I'm like, well, technically you're a coach because you're coaching a person through a program, but you're really not a health coach because you're using that program. So I decided to look into health coaching. So I went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is for health coaches. I became a health coach in 2014. I had some clients, but I was driven. I want to know what causes these problems. Diet is fine. Eliminating toxins is fine. But what is the root cause? What is causing us as human beings to become dysfunctional? So I enrolled in the School of Applied Functional Medicine with Tracy Harrison, who is a fabulous lady and very intelligent. And I did that. I took the I took a year and a half and went through the program and got certified in functional medicine for health coaches. And now my practice is, well, it's going good. I mean, it could be better. The times we're in right now, nobody wants to spend the extra money on finding out what's wrong with them. They're trying to figure out where they're going to pay their bills. So we're in a different time right now.
Yeah, but you know what? This is what I think. And we have to, people have to retrain their brain. Okay. And
Man,
the reason I'm saying that is because you have to pay your bills. I get that. But when you're admitted in the hospital, you have to come up with money for that deductible. And it's
right,
usually 5, 10, 15,
right,
$20,000. So now you need to start while you're home and under the COVID, you have to now start to you have to prioritize
right.
what's important to you. So maybe you weren't going to the gym and I was going to the gym and I gained some COVID pounds, of course, but I'm going to lose it. I'm not worried about it. But now we have to figure out, okay, since you're not in the gym, how are you going to exercise? So I think right now the challenge is, and it shouldn't be a challenge, let's prioritize what we're
Right.
doing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, exactly.
people think they don't have the money, but okay, so if you're eating the way you're eating and you go to the emergency room, bam, you've not met your deductible. That's a problem. Health is wealth, you
Health
know?
is wealth.
And people need to know that. What
Right.
is the most common things that you're finding that the challenges that people are telling you in order not to be a part of a program?
Well, one of those is, well, Tom, do you eat healthy 100% of the time? Or do I have to eat healthy 100% of the time? I'm going to Aunt Mary's birthday this weekend, and I want to have a piece of Aunt Mary's cake. Or on Thanksgiving, I want to have the stuffing.
Right.
It's kind of like driving down the highway. You're driving down the highway, and it's beautiful. And sometimes you want to go take the scenic route. It's like, oh wait, this is great, but I want to go see what's out there. So you steer off the highway onto the scenic route, but you always have to return back to the main highway to get to where you're going. And I kind of live by it. I'm a little stricter than most. I'm a 90-10 guy instead of 80-20. But I enjoy a pint of chunky monkey. And I'm not saying, and I eat the whole pint in one sitting. I don't portion that shit out. I eat it all. But I only do that like once every other month.
Okay.
And I don't recommend anybody go with lactose intolerance to go grab a pint of chunky monkey, because that's going to screw your system up. So if you're ever lactose intolerant, don't do it. And believe me, I pay for that pint because I can feel the phlegm developing in my throat from the milk. Because milk isn't healthy anymore.
It's not, with all the processes and that they're going through, the GMOs
It's
and
an
things
industrial
like that.
food.
Exactly. So that's why I direct people to making their own cashew milk, making their own oat milk and things like that. So
or if you want the milk taste, I mean, go to Sprouts, go grab yourself some goat's milk. It's just as good. It's actually better.
Well, you and I have two different plans because I'm plant-based and and again, and
exactly.
Right. So, and that's fine, because if it works for you, it works for you, So what, you've come up with did you come up with a comprehensive lifestyle plan for people?
I do. I take them and sit them down. I actually do a walkthrough of I have an intake form you fill out just like at the doctor. I have a website I use that's HIPAA compliant. So you can go on there and submit your intake form or fill it out online, And that comes to me. I have a 20-minute free consultation or complimentary investigation of you, and to see if I'm a good fit for you, and you're a good fit for me. And if you're not a good fit for me or I'm not a good fit for you, I've got plenty of people in this program that I've been through school with. I have a really good network of School of Applied Functional Medicine health coaches that are amazing. And I might not be the person you want to work with. But anyway, 20-minute consultation. I go through that intake form with you. We talk about some of your issues. If you want to come on board, Fantastic. I put together a plan. I don't make it hard because optimal health is not complicated. You know, it's about maximizing. Let's talk about this for a minute. You maximize what your unique person needs in your body, your raw materials that your body needs to function and heal: oxygen, water, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, proteins, healthy fats. And then you minimize, you take out the harmful stuff that you need. You take out the toxins, the infections, the allergens, the stress. I can't stress enough. 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits in the United States are stress-related complaints. It's huge. It's huge. And we are going through stressful times. Stress can take you down so fast.
You know, I agree with you on that. And that's why I'm, you know, even for myself, I'm practicing self-care, because what has happened once you leave college and all that kind of stuff, no one talks about what are you doing for yourself other than you're going to school, you're rushing, you're trying to make a buck, make a family,
Right.
take care of the family. So I am basically stressing self-care.
Right.
Meditation, because as you said, stress can kill you.
Oh, absolutely.
Cancer, we can go on and on and on and on. So I like the fact that you're talking about stress and how, and the percentage when it's going to the doctor's office. What do you do? What do you do for
stress?
Stress?
I'm going to be honest with you. I went through a little hiccup in my life the last month, and I haven't been doing very good at my self-care. So, I mean, working out is part of my self-care. I hurt my leg, and it took about 3 weeks to heal. So I wasn't able to go to the gym as much as I wanted. I tried the best I could. I did upper body as much as I could, but that gets boring to me. So I wasn't paying attention to that. I had a gentleman staying at the house here with me that I was helping out get back on his feet. And he was in my house, and I live in a small apartment, so I didn't have that space to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things went awry, and I noticed it. First of all, gut health goes fast. If you're stressed, your gut knows it, man. Your gut is your second brain. It notices that you're not doing well, and it will tell you. I mean, look at your look at your bowel movements in the day. If they're not beautiful, I know it's kind of weird to talk about bowel movement as beautiful, but if it's not coming out the way it should look, like the Bristol stool chart, print yourself out the Bristol stool chart. That's hard to say quickly. And look at your bowel movement in the day. If you're constipated, if stress is causing you constipation, if you're not having a bowel movement once or twice a day, you've got a problem. So I have a machine. It's a Huzo. It's an acronym for human sound. I do that twice a day for 30 minutes. I do it in the afternoon. I do it in the evening before I go to bed. I have a little bedtime ritual, which I'll include here in a minute. But first thing in the morning, I get up and I walk outside. I take off my slippers and I ground myself.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
I ground myself on the grass, or right now I have mud.
Mm-hmm.
But I ground myself. I find a piece of wet grass if I have to. My neighbors think I'm nuts because they like, what are you doing standing out here? But barefoot and ground yourself. And then I start my day with gratitude. That's the major. One thing that would change your life more than anything in the world is to wake up and be grateful for 3 things, or grateful for something. Start with your day with gratitude. I have 3 things in the morning and 3 things at night. I end my day with gratitude, start my day with gratitude. The next thing, I dig into the scripture. I've got what's the name of the app? Hang on, I'll tell you. It's on my phone.
Is it Calm, or no? Is it the Bible app?
Jesus Calling.
Okay.
And then I have the Bible app, the Holy Bible app. So I read Jesus Calling, And then I go to the Bible app, and there's a devotional there that I've been reading. And I pick up devotionals along the way. Like right now, I've been going through some anger, some stress. So I find something that deals with that. I find something that's going to feed me. And then I pray and journal before I start my day.
You know, you said some things that, because for me, that's what I apply. I'm into grounding. I definitely go outside in my front lawn and I ground. I like grounding when it's raining. I do it late at night when there's a full moon. I go
Oh,
out there as well. I can be sleeping and I hear something's whispering in my ear. I know it's not my husband, but something's whispering. And sure enough, I don't need to know when there's a full moon. When I get that whisper, I look outside and it's like the full moon is
oh
calling.
yeah.
So I go outside and I ground. And what I also do for me is I listen to this thing that's called binaural beats. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
I listen to that whenever I feel like I'm stressed, if my head is hurting, which rarely does, if I feel like inflammation going on. Of course, I take the turmeric and all that other stuff, but it calms me.
Right.
It puts me, I use it to sleep, I use it to for stress, and it helps. It's one of the most amazing things. And also I have a therapist because this world just makes you sometimes you need someone to talk
Right.
to.
Right.
So my therapist introduced me to binaural beats because I'm all into the holistic healthcare, the holistic life, and I it's just something about that I listen to. It just does something for me. It grounds me. I also do the water cleanse. I don't know if you heard about that. This
Yeah, I
is
have.
something in Peru, which I fell in love with. So, you know, and for those who don't know, what I do is the water cleanse. This is what the Peruvians used to do. And it took them over 100 years to get the book transcribed into English, translated into English. And like, if I'm not feeling well, I'll soak a towel in freezing cold water, wring it out, put it on my abdomen. And when you do that, like the shape of your intestines, when you do that, you hear these sounds in your abdomen,
Oh yeah.
these disgusting sounds. Like it's almost like you have gas and you can hear the gas moving in
Right.
your tummy. So if you have a headache, it works phenomenally. So that's what I do with my clients, talk to them about things like that.
Yeah.
And then the most important thing that you said, which I agree with, along with everything, because we're on the same page, I definitely wake up every morning with a grateful heart, telling the universe, thank you for waking me up. We can find something to be grateful
Oh,
for. So
absolutely.
that's what I do. So now how do you think you're managing your stress better now?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. 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 Absolutely. I've went back. I got away from my Huzo. I mean that Huzo is like it's called human sound, and it is a like monks chanting and didgeridoos, and it goes and it has four pads. You put them on your acupuncture meridians, your ankles and your wrists, and as you listen to the sounds coming through, and they have different modes. There's 10 or 12 different modes you can use. I like the grounding one because it's a low volume and and it's a sound. Now, I probably did that horribly, but the point's there. And as that sound goes through your ears, the pads vibrate.
Oh, wow.
So you're getting the vibration, since your body is a huge percent water. The vibration sends this through your whole body, so that calms you, and it's just amazing. I've tried a lot of things, and this machine just changed my life. And it's
See, and I think people, when it comes to vibration and sounds, because I like listening to the monks and I also like listening to the bulls.
right,
I love listening to that. So that's something new you're introducing me to. That's something that you put on your pressure points,
right.
which is really good. So what would you tell someone right now that's because we have the COVID-19. We have people losing
Oh
their
yeah,
jobs. Delta just said that they're going to be, laying off people. Wellstar's laying off and furloughing people. The most important thing right now for people is finances, because finances can lead to stress.
right.
What advice would you give someone who's watching right now on, okay, what do I do? I'm losing my job. I have no money. How are you engaging your clients or people who are watching right now on how to manage that stress?
That's a very good question, and it's a very hard answer. I would say grounding for sure, because that reduces inflammation. As Sandy said here, I have to say, even though it's hard, you have to exercise. At some point, you have to walk. Go for a walk. I mean, gratitude for sure, but go for a walk. Or if you don't feel like walking, when you go to the grocery store, because going in the grocery store is actually stressful itself right now. And park as far away as you can and walk to the door. You know, Sandy just said meditation. Meditation's a good one. It's easy. There's a lot of apps for these idiot boxes we carry around in our hands.
Hey.
I'm as guilty. Believe me. This one of my addictions is this stupid little phone, and I'm working on getting rid of it. But yeah, there's a great apps out there for meditation, gratitude, the universe. If you don't believe in God, believe in something. You know, give it up to the universe, because the universe has your back. I don't care. And you know, go nature bathing. Sandy just said. Sandy's giving me cues here. Nature bathing, something. Nature bathing. Go find a park. You know, go walk outside.
And it's so important that people do this, because for me,
it's free.
Like when I'm stressed out, I used to belong to the gym, but because of what's going on with COVID, I'm not going anymore. So I find myself like yesterday I was going to ride a bike, but I live in Cobb County. Somehow the company who had those bikes that you could do the ride shares or the bikes, they're out of business. So I decided, since I'm at the mall, because that's where it was, I'm not going to go in the mall and shop. I'm going to walk around the mall. This was around 7:00 in the morning, not inside the mall, in the parking lot. Number one, I didn't have to worry about wearing my mask because no one was there.
Right.
It was just me by myself. So I didn't have to worry about wearing a mask. And I was just walking around thinking, and I get my best ideas when I'm in the shower. Water is very important to me. Yeah. It's calming, and I get most ideas. And when I'm walking, so I decided to, so just calm and just, woo-saw and think like that. So for me, walking, I agree with you on the exercising. It releases endorphins.
Right.
But what I love is when I can get with my gals, my girlfriends, and we can laugh and joke. I watch mindless television. I watch like All in the Family, old television shows that made you laugh.
Right.
So that's what I try to do. I try to stay away from the news, because
absolutely.
Ooh, I can't deal with that.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The news is like death on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sit, the gentleman that was living with me had that on, CNN on 24/7, even when he slept. I'm like, how can you listen to that every day? I'd rather sit in a corner and stab myself in the leg with a fork.
You're so funny, because what I'm learning through COVID, not just smell the roses, because we always say, take time to smell the roses. Right. I'm actually looking at the roses. I'm actually taking this time to be present. Right. That's what I'm doing at this time. And so often we don't do that. We're just, how are you doing? Fine. How are you doing? I want to commit suicide. How are you doing? And people didn't hear that you said you wanted to, I'm just using that as an example, not to be light about it, but we're so busy just walking, not listening.
The suicide rates are screaming right now. And you really, on my optimal health plan, prioritize. You have to prioritize your sleep. You have to prioritize rest. Prioritize laughter. Exercise, stretching, breathing. If you have to just sit there, hold your tummy in your chest and breathe. Just breathe. Just be. Meaningful relationships also. Like to your point. I know it's hard right now, that because everything's open here in Atlanta, but I was planning a trip to Michigan next month, and I called a friend to come out, stop there and visit on my way to my sister's house, and they don't want me to spend the night because of COVID, and I'm like, okay, that's fine with that, I get that, but you know what, I could go still visit, So he said, stop by, visit, but you can't, the hotel's closed for the night for you. I said, okay. But meaningful relationships, reach out to your friends by the phone. Skype. Skype's free. It's owned by Microsoft now, but Skype's free. Skype people, you know. Zoom's free for a certain amount, but there's ways to do that. You also have to, I know the layoffs are hard. I know losing your job's hard. And, I'm struggling right now because of nobody's going to spend money with me right now because they don't, they should be to get their health right, because let's face it, COVID, one of the statistics of COVID is diabetes. Number one cause of COVID infectedness is diabetes. So if you have type 2 diabetes, you probably are going to have a really high chance of getting COVID-19.
Well, here's what I want to put out there, because I believe in the laws of attraction.
Right. Oh, man.
Let's not say that people can't spend money with you. Let's say they will spend money with you.
Okay.
And it's the right people we need to get, because one of the things, and I posted something a few minutes ago, while you're going through this, you have to get rid of toxic relationships.
Oh, yeah.
I'm allergic to negativity. I have no room in my life for negativity. The minute I find you negative, I'm blocking, deleting you, and all the other stuff.
Especially on social media.
Oh my God. Well, see, the great thing is on social media, thank God, because I'm positive, I don't have any negativity that comes on my page or any of that. But what I mean is, like, if you meet someone, this is my thing of negativity. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. The whiner. The whiner. Whining, and they're in that negative world, and you try to help them. I have to remove myself because I'm an empath. So I can't take on that energy that people, I'm all about energy. So for me, I want people to live their best life and to be positive. So like, and I'm always getting things. The universe is always giving me things for some reason. During this COVID, I already have a business. I gave birth to 2 businesses, about to be a third one in the because of COVID. So, and I'm saying this, and it's not bragging. What I'm saying is, sometimes the universe has told you to move, leave that job you don't want to leave.
Right.
So the universe is like, okay, you don't want to leave? I'm going to make you leave. I'm going to make your job lay you off or fire you. Now is the time for everyone who has a 9 to 5, everyone who has a 9 to 5, they need to start working on a side hustle. Right. And when I mean a side hustle, I mean another gig. Have a whether it's a home-based business, start working on multiple streams of income. The worst thing that can happen to people right now is to die with that dream. Like, oh, I was thinking about starting this business. And then you're dead. And later on, I wish it woulda, coulda, that kind of thing. So for me, I just get rid of the toxic relationships. But I like what you're doing.
And that's good, because you're right. But sometimes, especially going through this, and I've talked to a couple of police officers during this COVID, and families being stuck in the home. There's been a lot of domestic violence calls.
Yes.
On both sides. And the kids are in the house. Remember, your kids are in the house. They've got cell phones. And he told me, domestic violence is rising from women against men. Kids are calling in. So I went this past little couple month period in my life when my leg went shut down, and I had Lewis, my buddy living here, helping him out. I got negative. I'm not going to lie. I got negative. I wasn't a happy person. I wasn't Thom. I wasn't the Thom that I should be or wanted to be. I was Thom, and I was not good. It was terrible Thom. So I had to take a step back and realize what was missing, and I had to readjust. And this is all about life. When life sets you back, sometimes you got to sit back and look at what's going on and readjust and reevaluate and redirect yourself.
Thom, let me make this perfectly clear, and let me make sure I get a close-up when I say this.
Okay.
Ooh, my skin is glowing. Ooh, now let me say this carefully. I want to make sure everyone hears this.
Right.
By no means am I saying I'm Polly Purebred 24 hours a
Right.
day, 7 days a week, because Jackie has her moments. But I don't let my moment make me. I make my moments.
Right.
I have that minute where I'm like, oh my God, why is this happening? But the thing with me is I get tired of me whining. So because of that, I snap out of it. You
Right.
know, so you are going to be depressed. You are going to go through these things. The thing is, it's not what you go through, it's how you come out of it. So I
Exactly.
would be crazy to think that, oh, everything is life is golden for you. You have no issues, because that makes you human. That makes you relatable to your abundance of clients that are going to be
Right.
crashing down the
Yeah.
doors soon.
I
So
mean,
that makes it relatable.
life is life, and shit happens, and we have to reevaluate, adjust, and move forward. Because moving backwards does cause no good at all. Causes more stress, less sleep, the two main killers. And let's face it, living in that sympathetic fight or flight mode all day long isn't doing you any good. It's making you sick. It's making your gut not healthy. It's making your bowels loose. And it's not, it's a downward spiral. I mean, all disease begins in the gut.
I agree. I
Everything.
definitely agree. Yep, I agree with you. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Since you've been a health coach, what one client has changed your life based on you changing their life? Like what client, you don't have to give the name, but
Okay.
can you give us a circumstance, or when they called you because they lost the weight, they seen the light,
Right.
and how did that make you feel? So it's two questions.
Two
What
questions.
example happened and how
I
did you
had
feel?
a client who had a gastric bypass and followed the conventional medical system of how to fix or what to do after the gastric bypass. But unfortunately, our conventional medical system isn't always right, unfortunately.
You think?
Anyway, I've got another thing to go over on that one, but so she came to me. She had PCOS, and she just got married. She wanted to have a baby. She wanted to lose the weight. So I looked at her blood lab chemistry, and I did some other testing, a Dutch test, which is a hormone test that I use for testing hormones and cortisol levels, and oats test, metabolites and stuff like that in your body. And I worked with her for a year. She lost all the weight and she got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
The doctors told her she was never going to get pregnant. Ever. And she was bound and determined to beat that. And, when she got pregnant, she reached out to me. I said, well, you need to name, the middle name needs to be Thom, if it's a girl or a guy. So you need to at least name it after me, or her after me. But she laughed and she didn't do it, of course. Who wants to put Thom in the middle of a girl's name? Anyway, that was a joke, a poor one. But anyway, she went on to have a baby, and the baby's healthy. She's healthy. She's lost the weight again. She's keeping it off. And so that's probably my biggest accomplishment and that was actually my case study to graduate the School of Applied Functional Medicine, was her. And a lot of stuff happens when you get a gastric bypass. There's a lot of things go on. I mean, and the conventional medical system will not tell you that when you get a gastric bypass of any kind, that you're going to not absorb some nutrients that you really need in your body to function. So you're going to have to supplement those nutrients or learn how to eat healthier. So yeah, that's my best story. And it was happy when she told me she was pregnant. I hit the ceiling. It was great accomplishment for me.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. Well, can you give us, for those who want to be connected with you, how they can connect with you, your
Sure.
website and things like that?
It's ThomUnderwood.net, THOM Underwood.net. I'll put where can I clip these links to?
Can you won't be able to type it in.
Okay.
So, okay, what is it? What's Tom?
It's,
What's your
it's ThomUnderwood.net.
Great Tom underscore or just Tom
Just
Underwood?
ThomUnderwood.net. It's THOM Underwood.net.
Underwood.net.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I have a gut health cheat sheet on there,
Okay.
which I sent you the links. I don't know if you have them. I can type them in your box right now.
Yeah, type it in the box.
I'll type it in your private chat here.
Yeah, you could type. Yeah, you do the typing.
It's a gut health cheat sheet. And that tells you some things to keep your gut healthy. There is also, I want to touch base on blood chemistry labs real quick, but I made an Excel spreadsheet for people to track their blood chemistry with. And I'll go into that in a minute. But the podcast is a Rebel Health Coach podcast. It's available on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can find a podcast. Just type in the Rebel Health Coach podcast and you'll find me there. And I have some really good guests coming up, and I've had some really good guests in the past. I just did one with David Norrie on his book. Darn it, I'm going to forget it. Hang on a second. Amazing book about, I will tell you in 1 second, if you can give me a second. I should have this, it's called Turned On. And it's about turning on your life and turning on your life in all aspects, turning off the phone, turning on your life in relationships, putting the phone down when you're with somebody you care about. It's about turning on the switch to God, turning on your relationship with your spouse, turning on your relationship with friends. It's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. And that's a great show. That was a great episode. I always have, I cover everything health and wellness.
And that's what we want people to know, because what we're going to do is we're definitely going to bring you back on the show, and maybe we can do collaborate, and I'll come on your show or something.
Okay.
But
That'd be awesome.
Because we definitely want you back on. So,
are we closing up right now?
Yeah, we're closing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about blood chemistry real quick.
Okay.
The lab tracker is available to download. I put the link in there for the lab tracker.
I have it.
But I want to talk about optimal versus normal, because a lot of people go to the doctor, and I hear this from every client I've ever had. Well, the doctor says I'm normal, but I still feel like shit. If I'm allowed to say shit, we're on Facebook. Shit's available. I still feel like shit, and the doctor says I'm normal, and he's not doing anything about it. Let me give you my version, a quick version of this, so we can cut this off. If your kid grading scale on a test, if your kid's going to school and the grading scale on a test is from, and I'm going to use B12 as a part of the number, was 210 to 1,000 picograms per milliliter, or vitamin D, which is the normal ranges are 330 to 100. That's nanograms per milliliter. And your kid comes home with a 210 in vitamin D or vitamin B12 and a 31 in vitamin D. Would you be happy? They passed, right?
Right.
They're normal. But you know what? Normal is a reference range to identify and diagnose disease states. The only goal, with the goal of fitting 95% of American people within the clinical normal reference ranges. But consider this: as the population becomes sicker, those normal reference ranges increase, because they're taking all the tests from like the Southeast and saying, okay, this is what we come up with normal. These are the people, this is how many people we tested, and this is our normal ranges. I don't want to be normal. I want to be optimal. And a majority of the people come to me and say the doctor said I'm normal. I say, okay, you're not, you're normal. You're right. You are normal, but you're not optimal. And that's why you're having this dysfunction in your body.
Wow.
And an example is eosinophil, which is a white blood cell marker. The reference range is from 0 to 7 to 9%. Okay, so 0 to 9%. Optimal range is 0 to 3%. If you're over the 3%, there's a good chance that you have parasites in your stomach. And those parasites in your stomach are not making your stool samples look very pretty. So when you get over 3 you have to be, I mean, if your poop's not looking good, you gotta pay attention to it, because your poop tells a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's one key takeaway for anybody is, if the doctor says you're normal, you still feel like shit, download my lab tracker, track your labs. It gives you can track them forever. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You can adjust it to keep going out as long as you want, and you can see a pattern. Also, pay attention to your stool sample.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to when you're pooping. If you're not pooping at all, you have a problem, because you should poop twice a day.
Wow. Thom, we're definitely going to get you back on this show, because you have a wealth of information. But I want to definitely thank you for being on the Women of Worthy show. Next time we're going to have you on for an hour and a half, because we have more things that we need to
we could cover.
Definitely. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women of Worthy
Thank
show.
you.
We want to thank the Rebel. He is the Rebel health coach. He showed us his tattoos and everything.
I talk a lot of shit too. That was a bad joke on ball movements, but we'll use it.
No, it's okay, because that's what we need to cover when we're talking on the next show, because I agree with you. I'm one of those, the minute I do it 4 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day. So I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. So without further ado, we want to thank everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
God bless, and much love.
God bless you. But we're gonna connect. We're gonna connect. I'm gonna call you after.
Okay.
So good night, everyone. Have a great day. And remember to wear your mask, wear your gloves, take your vitamin C, take your probiotics, and make sure you exercise. So we want to make sure we're leaving you with that.
Right.
So bye-bye.